In this video, I'd like to show you how to make your top trumps cards. So you'll have some resources and some slides that you can go through that will help guide you to create your musical top trumps cards. First thing you want to pay attention to is the card design. Top Trumps has a pretty clear design. Each card must include these things. It must include a title. And you can see in my card here on the right side that there is a title at the top. Underneath that, there's often a picture. This, I must say, is quite optional. You do not need to draw a picture, but if you'd like to, it might help make your card more unique, or it might be something fun to do while you're listening to the song. Then comes the most important part, are your 5 different ratings. You can see that there's a preference one. Oops, sorry, let me go back. Oh, sorry. There's a preference, feeling, everyday play, top trumps rating, and creativity. We'll talk about that later. And then at the very bottom, I'd like you to put words that you could use to describe the music that you hear. And again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So those are the things that you must have on every single card. So the 5 categories to rate the music are, the first one is preferences. Preference means how much do you like the music? It's a scale of 1 to 10, and you'll just listen to the music and you'll decide how much do you like it and give it a rating. 1 being you don't like it at all, 10 being you like it an incredible amount, it's the best song ever. Number 2, the second one is feelings. How did this song make you feel? 1 is very sad and 10 is very happy. And we'll talk about that on the next one. Number 3 is everyday play. How often would you play the song? Number 4 is the top trumps rating, which is just a ranking, meaning like you put the songs in a special order, whatever order you want. And then the 5th one is creativity. You're going to think about the song and think about how creative it is. So let's look at those categories a little more in depth. This is the rating scales that we would like you to use for your top trump cards. You'll see that I've created it so you can see what you're doing. Preferences, how much do you like the music? So over here on the left side, it says really dislike. So if you really don't like the song, you're going to give it a 1. If you really like the song, you're going to give it a 10. And maybe if you just kind of like it, you'll give it a 7 or 8. Or if you're not quite sure, it's okay. It's not too bad. Maybe your number will be in the middle. Or if you kind of don't like it, but it's all right, maybe a 3 or 4. So you'll try to rate somewhere along this scale. Now, the tricky thing comes at the very bottom. If you read this bottom part, the part in yellow, it says, try to use each number for each category only once. So if you love all of the songs, you can't give them all 10s. You'll have to give 1 a 10 and 1 a 9 and 1 an 8. The idea is that you don't want to give the same number again and again and again and again. Now, if you accidentally do it, it's not a big deal, but your goal is for each category to try not to use the same number too many times. So that was preferences. For feelings, how does this song make you feel? And as I said before, 1 is very sad, 2 would be a little bit sad, 3 would be kind of sad, 4 is, it's a little bit both, all the way up to 10, which would be very happy. Then we get to everyday play. I like this one. So when you listen to the song, I want you to think, how often would you listen to this song? In the next 10 days, would you listen to the song 10 out of 10 days, meaning you would listen to it every single day? Or would you only listen to it 1 out of the 10 days? Or would you listen to it half the days, 5 out of the 10 days? So I want you to think about the song and think about how often would you listen to it? Now, I have to tell you, one of my favorite songs, I would not listen to every day. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite song, but it's kind of a sad song, and I really don't want to listen to it every single day. So this is very different than your preferences. Just because you love a song doesn't mean that you would want to hear it every single day. It might mean that you do, but it might not. So this is just a different way to think about it. I want you to think, if I had 10 days, how many of those days would I want to listen to this song? And the same thing as I was saying before, try to make it so that you don't have the same number for every card. Don't be like, I'd listen to it 5 days, 5 days, 5 days, 5 days. We want to try to have a different number as much as you can. The next category is top trump ratings. This is ranking your songs in order of preference. So you might not like any of the songs, but there's still one song that is the best. So your favorite song should be number 1, and your least favorite is going to be number 7, because there's actually only 7 songs that we're listening to. We're not listening to 10, we're only listening to 7. You're going to be making 7 different cards. So your favorite song is number 1, and the song that you like the least will be number 7. And again, it doesn't mean that you dislike it, it just means that's the order. And the last category is creativity. Creativity is how creative is the song. So if you listen to it and you're like, this is pretty normal, I feel like I've heard this before, you might say that that's a 1 or a 2. It's not very creative. If it's something, oh my goodness, I've never heard anything like it before, you might rank it really creative. So that's another way to kind of think about each song. These are the 5 categories for which you need to think about each song. At the bottom of the card, I want you to describe the song. So you're going to kind of think about it. And these are some words you might use, although please know you could use other words as well. If you have a different word you want to use, please use those words too. So you might say, is it high or is it low? Is it smooth or bumpy? Is it long or short sounds? Fast sounds, slow sounds? Is it heavy, loud sounds or light, soft sounds? Is it big or is it a little song? Go through each of these and you can pick which one. You might not include all of the words. You might just be like, it's high and it's bumpy. It's okay if there's just a few words, or you might use all of them. You might also include what instruments you hear. It's a singing voice. I hear guitar, or whatever instruments you hear. You might also say, it reminds me of this little rabbit that's jumping around and trying to find its home. I don't know. If you hear a story, you could write that down. That's a good way to describe music as well. So any sort of words that come to you that help you describe the music that you hear, that goes at the very bottom of the card. So let's just look at this card again, and I'm going to move my face out of the way there a little bit. So here's the card. At the top is where you'll put the title of the song. Then your picture goes underneath it if you want to. Again, you don't have to. Then there are the 5 categories. Please make sure you write them: preference, feeling, everyday play, top trumps rating, creativity. Please make sure you write those. And then at the bottom, leave a little bit of space for you to write some words of how you could describe the song. You need to make 7 of these cards. And I think you should make these cards just the way that I did without filling out any of the information. Make those 7 cards now. When you're making them, you might just take a piece of paper and write it on the piece of paper. So you write the title up here, leave a space, and then write preferences, feelings, everyday play, top trumps rating, creativity, and leave a space at the bottom. So you could do this on a piece of paper if you want. You could also do it on the computer if you know how to do that. But if you don't, I think just creating it on a piece of paper is fine. But what you'll want is 7 different pieces of paper. You do not want to do it all on one piece of paper. We need 7 different ones. So please make sure that you have different cards and get each one of those ready. So I'm going to create my first one. I'm just going to put a box at the top, and then I write preferences, feelings, everyday play, Top trumps rating. And creativity. With a little room underneath to write some words. There, I've created just really quick a little card. And when I listen to the song, I'll be ready to fill out my card. So it's important that you create 7 of these. Then, once you have all 7 of your cards created, you're going to keep going in the slideshow and you'll listen to each song. So you'll click on the song, and you can read the instructions. It says, listen to the song, and then fill in the title of the song at the top. Draw a quick picture, optional if you want to. Rate the song with the categories, and then add some description words. So I'm going to play it. So I can write the name of the song. The name of the song is at the top of the slide. It's called All You Need Is Love. So I'm writing that down. I'm going to stop it. And then as I'm listening, I would think, all right, how much do I like this song? How many times? How does it feel? And I'll go through and I'll answer all of those categories that we talked about before. When I'm finished with one card, then I move on to the next slide and I do it again. And then I do it again and again and again and again and again. And after you've done 7 cards, you're basically done. At the end, just double check that each one has its title, the name of the song. Make sure you have draw a small picture if you want. And then you have a number for all of the categories. You have words describing the music. And then if you can, try to make sure that the numbers, you can kind of put the cards in front of you and be like, how many times did I repeat the numbers? Because you remember, we don't want to have everything being a 10. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. No, don't have all of them be 10s. Make sure you're using different numbers the best you can. And then you're done for this activity. Once you have those 7 cards created. Now, the reason we need them is next week, we're going to play a game. So please make sure that you keep them and that they're someplace safe. And then next week, I'll tell you how we're going to play the game. I hope you have so much fun listening to the music. I tried to pick music that was kind of fun to listen to. And then create your cards and keep them. I hope you have fun. Oh, I have to turn this off, and I'm always a little slow at turning it off. There it goes. I hope you had fun, and remember to reach out if you need any help. Bye.